Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you the Chery Tiggo 7. It is the new one, it's a bit of a facelift. Biggest changes to know about, we officially have another engine option. There's a 1.5 litre turbo and a 1.6 litre turbo. Pricing starts at R500,000 and it has just about everything, as usual. But at the end of the day, guys, this is the Chery Tiggo 7. I'm Shane Assad, and thanks for tuning in. So first things first, aesthetics, the way the car looks. So especially at the front, there's quite a big change. We have the new diamond design grille, number one. We officially have the new Chery Tiggo 8 Pro headlights, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan. Number three, we of course do have a front-facing camera, which is part of the 360-degree camera system. Number four, we do have park distance control. And number five, we do have these giant pieces of piano black trim, which to me is a bit more sporty and aggressive in design. It looks a lot like a cheetah or leopard's face. Does make the car stand out quite a bit. Then of course the side profile of the car. Look, it is a family car, it is a 5-seater family SUV. We do have these silver roof rails, which you can of course put a roof rack on or a roof box. And it does also have 19-inch wheels. Now, one thing I have noticed with quite a few cars is that some of the parts of the wheel are actually plastic, but at the end of the day, it does give it a different look. It looks a bit EV-ish, but yeah, a lot of manufacturers are doing it. Not too bad. So now in terms of the rear of the car, we do have the new rear light bar design. Looks pretty cool, very edgy. We of course have park distance control at the rear too. Now, obviously your tailgate is electric. In terms of boot capacity, it's 565 liters of boot space. We have a little bit of a divider here to keep your belongings safe from prying eyes. We also have these little hooks, which can actually carry up to 3 kilograms. So it is very useful when, of course, carrying handbags or groceries. Then of course, if we lift this up, you'll find that there is an extra compartment to hide further belongings. And underneath this, you'll eventually find the Space Saver spare wheel. You eventually get there. All in all, not too bad. It's plenty of space. If we do put the rear seats down, it does extend further up to 1,400 liters of boot space. So quite a lot. Then obviously we do have the rear reversing camera, which is part of the 360-degree camera system. Now, in terms of the interior of the Chery Tiggo 7, look, for a normal person and a motorist, this is more than you will absolutely ever need. So first things first, yes, it is incredibly comfortable. The seats are great. They are covered with synthetic leather. So when I say they, I mean the entire interior of the car. There is no real animal leather. It is simply synthetic leather. But from a comfort point of view, that's not really an issue. In terms of tech, if you are a tech nerd, you're going to love it. It's filled with absolutely everything. But one thing I will say is that if you've been in one Chery, I'm not going to say you've been in all of them, but they're all pretty familiar. The steering wheels are all identical. There are a few subtle updates here and there. So especially between the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro, Tiggo 7 Pro, the new Tiggo 7, which is this one, they're all very, very familiar. Even the new Chery Tiggo 9 CSH, the Chery Super Hybrid, steering wheel is identical. But sometimes that's not always a problem. Why fix something that isn't broken? You know what I mean? In terms of tech, we do have a very good sound system. It's not that bad. We of course have a wireless charger up front, which is a 50-watt wireless charger, which is great. So it's a fast wireless charger. There are 2 USB ports. Now, what I will add is that this car does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is wireless, but to start it up, you do have to connect your phone with the cable first. Now, it is only a male cable, male USB cable, which means the old iPhone or Android cable. So if you have one, please keep it just in case. The aircon is fantastic. We of course do have a filter for the car, which is just for air purification, because ever since COVID, a lot of Chinese manufacturers make that a standard feature these days to make sure you have the cleanest air within the cabin of the car. Now, in terms of safety features, it has everything. It's called ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance System. So everything from your adaptive cruise control, to your front collision warning, to your rear collision alert, to your lane keep assist, to your emergency lane keep assist. It just goes on and on. Your blind spot alert. Everything that you can think of, this car has when it comes to safety. The front seats are electrically adjustable, as well as the fact that they're both heated and ventilated. That's quite a big thing, especially for 500,000 Rand entry point. That's actually brilliant. Another thing I will add is they actually have a eye sensor or eye tracker right above the steering wheel. Now, I did experience this in the JQ J7 when it first arrived here in South Africa, and it was extremely buggy. But in this, it's a lot better. It's less sensitive. So if you do, of course, want to look at the screen to see where you are going, if you're looking at navigation, it's not going to freak out. But if you do have your eyes off of the road for 2 or 3 seconds, it starts shouting at you, which is expected. So that's actually much better than it used to be. Thumbs up. The car, of course, does have a large panoramic sunroof, which is awesome. The car does have these vanity mirrors for both passenger and driver, and they're pretty interesting because you can actually change the color of the light from a warm to a cool light. So I suppose that's fantastic for passenger princess. Your wife or boyfriend or whatever is going to be pretty happy with that. But other than that, the car is very comfortable. I mean, for a everyday family SUV, you really don't need more than this. You don't. It's just the reality of Chinese manufacturers coming into the country. You don't need more than this. I will get onto driving impressions later on, but in terms of the interior, it's very good. Yes, there is plastic here and there. It's a given. A lot of car manufacturers have plastic. It's just the way it is. Mercedes-Benz use plastic, Audi use plastic, BMW use some plastic. It's just the way it is. So as I hop into the rear of the Tiggo 7, what I will say is, first things first, seating position. Now, it sounds a bit weird me saying that it's a passenger, but what I mean is legroom. So the front driver's seat is in my seating position. I'm 5'7" for reference, so there is a lot of legroom, really no issues with that, and your feet can kind of just slide underneath the seat. There is a stowage compartment on either back of the passenger and driver's seat, just to put a few things, your phone, your AirPods, whatever the case is. There is a ton of headroom, and thanks to the panoramic roof, we're getting quite a lot of natural light in, which is really nice. Now, of course, this car does have the windows tinted quite dark. It does help with the aesthetic of the car, considering it is gray, so it looks really nice. In the center here, we do have one USB port. It's also USB male. So it could do with the USB-C, I won't lie, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately. Then as we go further back, we do have our center armrest with 2 cup holders as standard. The door cards themselves also have space for water bottles. That's not too bad. But yeah, in terms of the rear, it's a comfortable place to be. These seats are not ventilated or heated. You only get those luxuries in the front. But it's all you're actually ever going to need. We do have, of course, our lights over here, and then just handles in case the person that's driving, well, doesn't know how to. So to have a quick look at the engine, interestingly enough, you have to open the bonnet and then take this cover off. So I don't really know why they've done it like this. It doesn't make too much sense to me. You could have a traditional engine cover on, that's not an issue. This isn't a plug-in hybrid, so there's no secret technology to hide, even if there was any. I don't know why they've done this. I would rather have it open, have it be a sight to behold and let the engine breathe that little bit more. I don't know why they've done it like this. I really don't know why. It's a bit weird. But yeah, you get 2 different engine variations. You get a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, and then the 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine. So of course the 1.5 liter produces 108 kilowatts and 210 Newton meters of torque, whereas the 1.6 liter produces 145 kilowatts and 290 Newton meters of torque. I think this is the 1.6. So it's a lot more punchy, it has a lot more power. You do feel it, but in terms of fuel consumption, Chery are really ironing those kinks out pretty well. Fuel consumption figures, acclaimed fuel consumption figures at least, for both of the engine variations are pretty good. They say for the 1.5, you can average between 6.7 and 6.9 liters per 100. I always typically say with any manufacturer, take that with a grain of salt, add on at least 1 liter to 2 liters. Of course, it does depend how you drive. Cool thing with this car, you start it starts in eco mode. You almost don't even notice until you really want to put your foot down and get that extra bit of responsiveness. Then you'll notice it's an eco, switch it over to sport or normal mode. The 1.6 liter, they say you'll average about 7.2 liters per 100. So yeah, I'm quite impressed. They've come a very, very far way. So driving impressions of the Chery Tiggo 7. Look, it's really not that bad. What I will say is that if you are a general motorist, and what I mean by general motorist, and I don't want anyone to take offense to this or become a little bit sensitive or emotional, is that if you are not a petrol head, you are not a car guy, this car is perfect for you. It's absolutely perfect because it's a comfortable 5-seater family SUV. It gets you from A to B incredibly well. Fuel consumption's not that bad. There's a ton of power. And it's just very comfortable. It's a good place to be. You've got a Sony sound system. You've got heated and ventilated front seats. The seats are electric. You've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You don't really need a whole lot more than that. It even has all the ADAS systems to keep you and your family quite happily and comfortably safe. This car is perfect for you then. Now, what I will say is that this being the new Chery Tiggo 7 is actually a bit of a looker. I do like the aesthetic look of it quite a lot. It has turned a couple of heads. People are very intrigued to see what this is. Is this new? Where is this from? Because it has quite a radical new design. It looks very good. So in terms of driving though, because that is of course important, as I put my foot down now, we are in normal mode and immediately car gets up and gets going. Yes, that is a little bit of latency for the car to figure out what to do, what gear to be in, but once it gets going, it's going. Turbo lag isn't too bad. I have experienced worse. Chery have come a very long way, especially in terms of teething issues when it comes to throttle response and turbo lag. They really have improved tremendously. Now, in terms of steering input, yeah, it's actually pretty good. The steering is electric, but in terms of when it is in normal mode, yeah, it is light, but as you get to speed, it does stiffen up a little bit. Then when you are in sport mode, when you are in sport mode, it's pretty much the same, but your throttle response is a little bit more twitchy. What the car then does is it wants to keep you in the lowest gear at the highest RPM possible to make sure that you have the best possible throttle response at any given moment, that you are always at the top of the torque curve and you have all the responsiveness you could possibly want or need. So that's what happens when the car is in sport mode. But now, obviously, when it is in sport mode, don't expect to be saving fuel. You're going to be a bit delusional. So if we throw it over to eco mode, which is what you are going to be driving in 95% of the time, and I found myself driving in 95% of the time without even realizing, and that's how pretty decent eco mode is. Another thing I'm quite a fan of is, besides it has a electric park brake, it has auto hold. That makes so much difference. So instead of having to keep your foot on the brake pedal whenever you come to a stop at a stop street or a traffic light, you can just touch the brakes once. The brakes will then lock until you touch the accelerator to disengage them. So the car just holds itself in place quite happily. In terms of noise, yeah, it's not bad. There's a little bit of road noise, like a smidge of road noise, but you can't really hear the engine. And the windows are single glazed windows. So the sound insulation inside is very good. I will say that. It's actually very decent. In terms of how the car feels when you're physically driving it, it's very comfortable. You don't actually feel the size that much. I will say car manufacturers are definitely getting better and making cars feel a little bit more nimble these days. Because, for example, I have driven one of the older generation Geländewagens, G-Wagons from Mercedes-Benz, and that feels like you're driving a boat. It feels like a ship, but that's what cars were like back then. Cars were boats and ships, and they wafted around, and that's just the way it is. This day and generation, everything is so advanced and so incredibly different that you could pretty much forget how big this car really was. But that's also the beautiful thing. This has a 360-degree camera system, so when you do come to a slower pace and you are ready to stop the car, the 360-degree system activates, and you can kind of make sure that you park nicely and not like a twat within the lines, if you know what I mean. Another thing I will say is that the car is front-wheel drive. So if it is slightly wet and it has been raining like it has been this week, I'm sure you noticed the car is a little bit dirty, is the fact that you put your foot down, the wheels will spin. Yes, the car does have traction control systems and electronic stability management systems, but the front wheels will spin. It's a given, end of story. My overall verdict, this car is really nice. It's a fantastic if you need to get from A to B. If you're not too worried about the fact that, it's not German, then it's perfect. It's also a great competitor for a lot of Korean manufacturers and Japanese manufacturers. If you are looking in the realm of R500,000, or if you want the top trim, which is 550,000 Rand, this is a very good option, considering it has everything that almost any other German car has. That's where I will say the Chinese have kind of come in, undercut pretty much all of the competition in the world. It's the way it is at the moment. But Chery have done a very good job. Now, of course, if you are wondering and if you have any questions, Shane, what about the JQ J7? Well, if you don't know, JQ is owned by Chery, and so is Amoda, and so is iCar, so is Luxeed as well as Exceed. Now, we don't get Luxeed or Exceed here in South Africa. iCar has just arrived, but their V23 looks very radical and very different, and it's fully electric. In terms of Chery, we do have the Chery Tiggo 4, Tiggo 7, Tiggo 8, Tiggo 9, and Tiggo Cross. So as usual, what I will say, if you are a general motorist and you want a great car that will get you from A to B. This is something to look at. I will always vouch for a test drive, 100%. Go to your nearest Chery dealer, whatever the case is, ask for a test drive and go for a test drive. Test it in all the different driving modes, see if you are happy. Of course, the car is going to be comfortable and you are going to be swooned away a little bit by all of the screens and the ADAS systems and all the tech. That is very standard with Chinese vehicles. I want you to go and feel how it drives. If you're happy with how it drives, then definitely consider it. But the biggest thing for me is don't get too blown away by all of the flashy things, because a lot of Chinese cars these days, and no disrespect to Chery, a lot of Chinese cars these days, it's the truth, and some German cars too, are focusing on all of the infotainment screens and all of the new systems where the screens can rotate. And that is there, of course, to provide convenience towards the driver and passengers, but don't let that get over the fact of what a car is supposed to be. A car is supposed to be transporting you from location A to location B seamlessly and safely. So feel what the car drives like. This is a pretty good car. It drives very well. They have really ironed out all the kinks when it comes to the turbo lag and throttle response. So it is tremendously better compared to what it used to be, and especially compared to the Chery Tiggo 4. It's much better. So I would always vouch for a test drive. But guys, if you did get this far in this video, thank you so much for watching. I do know that this video was fairly short. This car is purely a facelift and new version of the Tigo 7. The Tigo 7 has been out for a while already. But if you did get this far, nonetheless, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you could do me a solid, hit the like button and the subscribe button below. It goes a very long way for me and the channel. It allows me to review more awesome cars like this and go to pretty amazing events across the world and across the country to give you exclusive previews of what's going on in terms of cars. Everything from electric to supercar and hopefully a hypercar. That's definitely on the list. But at the end of the day, guys, thanks for watching. Stay safe, drive safe, and as usual, I'll see you soon.